Hey, so I decided to make the least evergreen content possible, and it's called Why Is Today Like That? So while the framework is evergreen because we use disability justice, we use re-indigenizing and super queer language, we're just talking about what's going on in the stars for like the next week. So it's like only going to be true for a couple days. Let's get into it. This might not come as a surprise to you, but astrologically, the tension is here. The tension is in the room with us. This is a very tense time for us collectively. Why? What's going on in the stars? Why is today like that, right? I first want to talk about the fact that, and maybe in editing, if you're on the visual, maybe I'll put the little chart right here. That could be very useful. Let's see, we're learning together. This is why making content imperfect is fun. You get to learn with me. So if there is a chart here, look at it. If not, you. Just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm in a mood today. I'm in a mood. But we're still in Capricorn season. I feel like the Capricorn of it all is going to be like impounded by the fact that Pluto is still in Capricorn for about the same amount of time the sun is in Capricorn. I didn't even think about that. That is a little bit intense. Okay, before I go into what Aquarius season is going to bring us and why it's going to hit a little harder than other Aquarius seasons have in our entire lifetime, let me just give a little summary. So, sun is in Capricorn. I'm recording this on January 15th, so it's usually you can expect that the sun changes signs around the 20th, 21st, 22nd, you know, depending on what's going on. That's kind of like a little overview, right? So then the moon changes every 2.5 days. At the time of recording, it's in Pisces. And then just for the 15th, I would say the 16th, the 17th, and part of 18th, it'll be in Aries. The moon will be in Aries, and the moon is how we feel collectively. Basically, if you have an Aries sun, for those few days, emotions will be impacted by your identity because the sun represents identity. There's also a couple other planets there. Chiron is there, and the true node is there. That's the wounded healer. If you've been listening for a while, I feel like it's been a couple years that we've been talking about this because that's how long it's been there, how long Chiron has been in Aries. And there's something here about starting. So the wounded healer, the Chiron, is in the sign of like Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the baby, but it's like pure passion. It's cardinal fire. So cardinal is like the starting. Fire is like the passion, the energy. Sometimes the chaos doesn't have to be. Sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it is. It's a lot, and that's okay. We love it. No signs are perfect. Every sign has their lessons and their blessings. Let's call it that. Let's not call it good and bad. That's too binary, dichotomic. Like, it's annoying. We don't like it. So then the moon is going to be in Taurus after that. And that I like to joke that that's a great time for snacks. If you have a Taurus moon or a Cancer moon, I always joke that if you go to a party, those are the signs that you can find at the snack table. I personally think that's an amazing thing. But the reason I'm giving you the layout of the moon is to give you that context that it seems to be that in the next week, we're not going to have air. There's not going to be any major planets in an air sign until all at once. So right now, we're working with the other elements. So the elements of the signs, there's fire, water, air, and earth. Our fire signs are Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. Our water signs are Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Our air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And our earth signs are Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. So we're going to be working with every element except air. And I know that there's a lot of people talking about what's going on in the stars. I know that I'm really focusing on elements. That to me, like the way that my rituals are, it's very earth-based. So hopefully this is exciting for you too if you're like a tree hugging Anyways, there's not going to be air. Air is information. Instead, there's going to be fire. So there's going to be passion. There's going to be earth, which is kind of like sorting logistics. Think about how long it takes for the tectonic plates to move. It's very much like long-term planning. And then fire, passion, we talked about that. When we get into this Aquarius season, we're going to get a lot of air all at once. Even though right now it feels like there's not a lot of information. Information is moving very slowly. Communication is kind of moving slowly. What is Mercury doing? Where is she? Oh, right. Mercury is also just entered Capricorn. So there's a lot of communication, organizing. And it's interesting because like Pluto is never going to be in Capricorn in our lifetimes ever again. It's there now and it's so aggressive. It's like the structure is strangling us. But at the same time, there are ways to set up structure so that when the air comes back in, it has a good flow. So there's a balance to be found right now. And it can be very overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming that there's it feels to me, okay, to the air signs, it may feel very void. It may feel very much like all of a sudden nothing is happening. And like not, oh, nothing is happening, like no new things are happening, but like the void, no thing, nothing, like the nothingness is happening. And that might not be everybody's experience, but that's probably what's happening for the people with air in their charts right now. So, something to consider. I personally am so excited for Pluto to go into Aquarius. And Pluto will go back into Capricorn one more time later in the year. There was a while where Pluto was in Aquarius last year where like things were just like feeling really good. Everybody was kind of having all these blessings, but it almost felt like, oh, I left something behind. Like if I would have known that my dreams were going to come true, I would have set things up differently. So Pluto went retrograde because she's trying to be a real one. And she said, okay, go get all the little things that you didn't bring into this plan. Like heaven on earth is possible, but get whatever you left behind. And what we left behind was addressing structural, excuse you, we're recording. What we left behind is addressing structural oppression. This is the fall of capitalism. It is. It's the fall of like the normalization of genocidal regimes. It's the fall of that guy's car. But anyways, so what does it mean? So when Pluto goes into Aquarius, Aquarius is a humanitarian energy. It also has, it's still Saturn ruled. Capricorn is Saturn ruled. Aquarius is also Saturn ruled. But it kind of speaks to the concept because it's an air sign of like, what else is out there? Of the air signs, Gemini is the kind of information gatherer to be like, oh, here's this theory. What is the opposite theory? Because for everything that is information, for every story, there's an opposite interpretation. Let's hear both extremes is like Gemini core, right? Libra is like, let's hear all the stuff in the middle and like see how many of what, like it's very voting, it's very judicial, it's very like, it's like a slower air sign, if you will, because it wants to gather all the information so that whatever decision it makes is correct, it's right, it's fair, it's just. And then Aquarius is like, what else is possible? Are you does this make sense to you? Let me know. So when Pluto is going into Aquarius, the sun will also be going into Aquarius. Every time I hear the song Age of Aquarius, I always mean to like look up, were they talking about like this Age of Aquarius or were they talking about Saturn being in Aquarius? I feel like it's got to be Pluto. Like this has got to be, maybe they're talking about the season, I don't know. Oh man, I can't cuss on YouTube. Don't report it, I'll do better. Okay, anyways. So Pluto is going to go here. We have the ability to build structure that is humanitarian and take all the information we learned in the last honestly, since Pluto went retrograde, let's just say in the last year to keep it simple, taking all that information to take power away from where it doesn't serve us to give power. Pluto also represents power. It's Scorpio's lover, ruler, whatever the crap. This is gonna be, let's see if this video stays up. I apologize. I will work on my cursing. But for now, meow meow. Pluto invites us to take our power back from broken structures. And it's going to come in swinging. It's going to come in hot. It's going to come in like you have no option but to take power back from any narrative that is not good for the people. Great in theory, a lot of hard work. Pluto also is associated with death, and we're seeing that right now. There's a lot of poetry about death and about people not dying in vain. People want to have a legacy. So Pluto can also be used to take power away from death as an ending and bring that power into storytelling as legacy and keeping people alive. So I think that's it. If you want to book a reading, I'll put the link in the description box below. This is a very funny day for me because I'm so anxious to be on camera. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, you're not, you could probably actually still pick up that I'm a little like, ooh, so thanks for being patient while I settle in to the world of the YouTubes. I hope that this made sense to you. And one thing I really appreciate about going into YouTube, which is something people have requested, is that now we can have conversations in the comments. Like Spotify has, like, I can ask like yes or no questions, I can do polls, but who participates in that? Like, honestly, it just seems like I can't do it with conviction versus here we can have a discussion in the comments. We can make content, like whatever your questions are, we can talk more in depth about it. Liberation is inevitable, according to astrology, according to my understanding of astrology today. What do you need to be supported in that? You tell me. All right. With that, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Love you. See you next time. Bye.